Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This is an important prologue to a best of. Posted to r/AmITheAsshole relationships. Deceased Caterpillar is the user. Am I the asshole for breaking up with my boyfriend after he chose me in an ultimatum? Me, 27 female, and my boyfriend, 27 male, have been dating for 2 months. We have so much in common. He's super sweet and always goes the extra mile for me with grand romantic gestures, even asking me out by buying me my favorite comic book and leaving a sticky note between the pages confessing his feelings. I've never gotten anything but amazing vibes from him this whole time until now. However, boyfriend has a childhood friend, 27 female. I'll call Sid. My boyfriend was very upfront when we started dating that he and Sid had romantic feelings for each other in the past, but decided it would be best they only stayed friends since they didn't want to risk their friendship. I never actually met Sid before and have only heard about her from boyfriend and vice versa. About 2 weeks ago, my boyfriend texted me, super distraught, telling me that Sid called him, saying that she was too jealous of my boyfriend's relationship and that she couldn't stand being boyfriend's friend while he was in a happy relationship with me. She basically gave boyfriend an ultimatum of having to break up with me or she would cut him out of her life. I was baffled by this, thinking that this 27-year-old woman, who had mutually agreed with boyfriend that they would never date, was so childish to give him a ridiculous ultimatum, and I voiced that to him. He got mad at me, saying it's not that simple, and seemed to be seriously considering breaking up with me just to stay friends with Sid. I was in disbelief that he couldn't see how manipulative and abusive this was, and that the obvious conclusion would be to cut her off since she was clearly toxic and controlling. But he was still on the fence, and we ended up taking a break and not talking while he thought it over. The next week and a half, he barely talked to me, telling me he's in a very hard place, while I became increasingly frustrated that this would even be a hard choice. Like, we're in a happy relationship, and he's debating breaking up because his crazy friend can't handle her jealousy? I was fuming. He then finally came to me, after that time of not talking, saying he decided to choose me and leave his friendship with Sid behind. But by that time, I was so mad that it was even a choice that took 2 whole weeks to decide to begin with that I ended up breaking up with him anyway. Now his friends are telling me I'm an asshole for not breaking up with him sooner because now Sid is still cutting him out for picking me over her and I'm still leaving him. Whereas if I had broken up with him during the weeks he was thinking it over, he would at least have been able to stay friends with Sid. But honestly, I didn't even realize how mad I was until he picked me and made it seem like he was some kind of martyr for doing so. Am I the asshole? Update. Apparently, Sid has completely cut ex-boyfriend off and blocked him on everything. He is begging me to take him back, even contacting my friends to attempt to convince me. Luckily, all my friends are telling him to F off. He wrote me some 2,000-word essay on how I'm the best thing that ever happened to him, and that he was blinded by his happy childhood memories of Sid. I also found out they slept together in the past before we started dating, so that's cool. But it was just a one-night stand to see what could have been. Either way, he was definitely hiding more about his relationship with Sid than I was told. I don't really care anymore, I'm not taking him back. He's a grown-ass man who should have known better than to ghost me for 2 weeks to think it over. As if things would be the same after he decided to pick me. Doubt anything else interesting will happen, but I might update if it does. I'm honestly just hoping this will be a reality check for him, and he'll get the message. At least his friends have stopped bothering me. This post was collected by Shattenspringer. Their tagline is, "Waste of a read, literally no drama." The original OP is Deceased Caterpillar, posted to r/relationship advice. This post was posted September 26th, 2025, roughly 10 months after OP had broken up with their boyfriend over the ultimatum. My 28 female, boyfriend 29 male, let my stalker ex 28 male into our apartment to leave me a birthday surprise. How do I handle this absurdity? I, 28 female, broke up with my ex 28 male 10 months ago, but he will not get over it. Despite me wishing to no longer interact with my ex, as well as me dating someone new, Cole, 29 male, my ex has been trying to win me back by doing over-the-top things like sending me gift baskets, love letters, chocolates, etc., even though I've blocked his number on all social media and always ignore his attempts to woo me with gifts. He never actually interacts with me directly, never waits for me outside or tries to talk to me. He just leaves me gifts at our doorstep and runs away. It's creepy and makes me super uncomfortable. Cole, who I live with, doesn't actually see an issue with this and says he feels bad for my ex and doesn't want me to waste my ex's money/efforts. So I reluctantly just let Cole eat the chocolates and other crap since he insists I don't throw them out. He even likes reading the love letters even though I tell him I don't want to. I don't understand why he's so chill about this because my ex and Cole aren't even friends and have never interacted. So it makes no sense why he's so okay with my ex doing these dumb gestures that he knows make me uncomfortable and creeped out. If anything, Cole should be pissed off that someone is trying to steal his girlfriend, right? Anyway, all of this finally came to a head on my birthday. After work, I came home to our apartment, decorated in balloons, chocolates, and flowers. I'm immediately touched, thinking all of this was a surprise from Cole. Nope. Apparently, my ex actually came over with all this crap, buzzed our apartment door. Cole let him in and allowed my ex to decorate our apartment and leave gifts for me. Then my ex left before I could get home. Cole apparently saw no issue with this and literally let my ex into our apartment like it was no big deal because my ex came all the way with all these gifts, which was such a thoughtful gesture. Now I feel totally unsafe. What if my ex secretly left a hidden camera or something? I have no idea why Cole is so fine with all of this. I've talked to him over and over, and he won't understand why I would want to reject free stuff from someone who cares about me. I love Cole, but the fact that he actually let my ex into our apartment was a huge breach of my trust, and I have no clue how to deal with this. Is this relationship just unsalvageable, or is there a way I can get it through Cole's head that none of this is okay? Could Cole have ulterior motives by letting my ex do all of these things? Any advice is welcome. I just have no clue how to handle this absurd situation. Thanks. Edit. Thank you for all the insight, everyone. I really appreciate it. I don't have the money to do everything that was recommended, but I am going to do some investigating into Cole and my ex possibly being in cahoots with each other, and confront Cole this weekend, likely to end this clusterfuck of a relationship. If there's any interest, I'll update if anything significant happens. Thank you again. Consensus. Don't even try to save the relationship and stay safe. Comments by OP. Why she's already living with Cole. Cost of living mostly. I live in a very expensive city, so I was living month to month on my own. He basically offered to be my roommate so that we can go half and half on the rent/internet/utilities and it would relieve my financial stress, which it has a lot. It might have been stupid to jump the gun at us moving in so quickly, but he had only shown green flags until now. I can technically kick him out and try to look for a different roommate if things are totally done for since most of the stuff in our apartment is mine. I mentioned above, it was mostly to do with the cost of living in an expensive city that we moved in quickly. I've known Cole for a couple of years as a friendly coworker and gaming buddy, and then started dating him 8 months ago. I thought I knew him well enough, but apparently not. I meant he only showed green flags before we started properly dating and we moved in together. Before this whole stalker mess, he was, or at least pretended to be, thoughtful, funny, helpful, and sweet. The type who, if you told him you had a hard day, he'd offer a shoulder massage and let you vent to him. It wasn't until this stalker X stuff that he showed such a disregard for my safety and comfort. I've been with Cole for almost 8 months at this point. I have no idea how the two of them could have met since they don't share any friends, went to different schools, work totally different jobs, and have completely different interests. Unless they secretly became friends while my ex has been stalking me and he's hidden that from me, which would be just absolutely ridiculous because who would want to be friends with the guy who's stalking/trying to steal your girlfriend? But at this point, I have no idea anymore. How she met Cole. Through work. We both worked together in retail for a couple of years before I moved to a proper salary job and casually stayed in touch with him after I quit. We would text to just catch up and play video games together over Steam. A couple of months after I broke up with my ex, he asked me out for coffee and things just progressed from there. In regards to if OP is sure her ex was in the apartment. I mean, all of the love letters and signed tags are in my ex's handwriting, so unless someone has copied his handwriting down to a T, then I'm pretty sure it's my ex. Cole has been the one eating all the edibles and interacting with the gifts. I do not even touch them, lol. My initial thought is maybe he wanted to keep my ex's gifts around so that he could get free chocolates to eat. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually that careless. His friends already know all about this and seem to think it's funny that my ex is such a tryhard. His family lives across the country, but I could try texting them. My ex was easy to break up with because I had only been dating him 2 months before he pulled some absolutely dumb crap that pissed me off so much I felt no remorse in dumping him immediately. With Cole, it's a bit different since I've known him years before dating and thought he was a really great guy until now. He's genuinely sweet in every other way except this one thing, but this one thing is definitely bad enough to outweigh the good things. It just sucks, but I have to think about my safety first. My boyfriend is work from home, so there's a chance he caught my ex while he was dropping things off and they talked. He denies that, but I'm becoming more and more paranoid now, and I'm definitely going to see what I can do to end this relationship in case they are secretly in cahoots. I'm becoming more and more paranoid that they have somehow come into contact. If Cole caught my ex while he was dropping stuff off previously and then became buddies. It makes no sense in my head, but neither does any of this shit. It's all so nonsensical that I could believe anything at this point. I don't have the money to break my lease, but I can kick Cole out since he's not on the lease. I admit I'm a pushover. Being raised by an abusive mother does that, sadly. I definitely needed this wake-up call. I grew up with an abusive mom and an absent father, so my relationship understandings are probably screwed up. Maybe I should probably go back to therapy for a while after this before putting myself out there again. Update. September 29th, 2025, 3 days later. Hello all, my last post blew up a bit and many people were concerned about me, so I'm going to give you this update. I can't even put into words how insane this situation has gotten. When I got back home on Friday, I tried to come up with a good plan to keep myself safe while I confronted Cole in case he were to do something scary. A lot of people put the fear of God into me in the comments on my last post. I invited my very tall and intimidating younger brother over to be there while I talked to Cole. My brother couldn't come over until Sunday, so I spent a day and a half awkwardly trying to pretend everything was fine. But I must have done a shit job because Cole kept asking me what was wrong in love-bombing me. Eventually, Sunday came around. My brother showed up and we grilled Cole about why the hell he's been so fine with my ex coming around with gifts and letting him in to decorate our apartment for my birthday. I was not ready. All of you had a lot of theories. One of which came up a lot was that the two knew each other and or were working together to do this. If anything, I would have rather that been the case because the truth is so much more fucked up. Basically, Cole has been fixated on my ex. He has essentially been stalking my stalker. Cole admitted that he made fake social media accounts, yes, multiple, to follow my ex, and has been stalking his Instagram and Facebook. Apparently, my ex has been making a lot of vent posts about me and how hurt he is that I'm not returning his feelings and have moved on so fast. And Cole has been egging him on his alt accounts to get my ex to keep trying. The reason my ex is still stalking me is because Cole has been literally telling him to on his fucking alt accounts. It's obvious my ex is unstable if he's listening to random strangers telling to keep trying, and Cole is taking advantage of his instability by planting thoughts into his head. If I am to believe Cole's words, my ex has no idea that it's Cole that's been encouraging him to keep pursuing me, but I can't be certain about anything this guy says at this point. So, why, you ask, was Cole doing all of this? That is exactly what my brother and I asked. This was his answer: to give my ex false hope. Basically to bully him. Anytime my ex angst posted on his social media about me, Cole got some sick satisfaction out of watching his misery. He wanted to string my ex along to keep trying to win my heart just to watch him fail over and over. Cole finds it hilarious that my ex is wasting so much money on gifts for me, and that it's him who eats the chocolates and reads the desperate love letters my ex sends to me, while I act like my ex gifts are radioactive and avoid them. This has all been some sick game to see how long he can get my ex to keep pining for me. Who the hell even does this? I've been living in fear for months because Cole thinks it's funny to manipulate my ex and watch him be heartbroken. I cannot articulate how sick all of this is. How is this funny? What is wrong with him? He said he makes sure not to go too far by discouraging my ex to make direct contact with me, but I can't believe anything anymore. I've read so many stories of people who were dating someone who seemed so sweet initially, but turned out to be actually unhinged. But I naively never thought that could be me. I was so careless and dumb because I clung to someone who finally treated me with kindness, but he is a twisted man who turned my ex into a monster by feeding his delusions. I think if he hadn't done all of this, my ex probably wouldn't still be stalking me in the first place. My constant fear and discomfort have just been an unfortunate byproduct of his little game of puppetry. I can't even comprehend how someone could do something like this. I'm so shaken up, I feel like I'm spiraling. Suffice to say, I'm living with my brother and his girlfriend while my ex gets the hell out. I told him he needs to move out within the week or I'm getting the cops involved. He didn't make a fuss or anything, surprisingly. He just looked at the floor like a kicked puppy. He hasn't even tried to call or text me, but I blocked him just in case. I'm going to see if my landlord can understand my situation and let me break lease early with no extra cost, but if I can't, my brother is going to cover the extra cost in the meantime, and I'll stay with him and his girlfriend until I can find somewhere else. My brother is seriously a godsend. I'm definitely going to go back to therapy as soon as possible because this whole situation has me unable to sleep at night, trust anyone, and I really need a better understanding of what are red flags in relationships. So many of you told me I was a pushover, and you're all right. It shouldn't have taken this long for me to call this relationship with Cole off. This is so fucked up, but I'm safe for now. I don't know what I'd do without my brother and his girlfriend. Thanks to everyone who told me to get out of this relationship because Cole was way more twisted than I ever could have thought. I don't even know if he told the whole truth, but I don't even care anymore. I'm out, gone, never looking back. Edit. Thank you everyone for your advice and words of encouragement. I called the non-emergency police line to file a report of all of this. It wasn't super helpful, other than just making a record, so I'll do a follow-up with them once I have safe access to my apartment and can collect evidence. I unblocked Cole for now to gather any text evidence, as some of you suggested, but he's been pretty quiet. He sent a photo of a couple garbage bags full of his stuff, and he asked if he could have a day to say goodbye to my cat. I have her with me currently at my brother's place. No way am I letting her near him. I haven't replied yet. I turned read receipts off. Haven't contacted X1 yet. Still figuring out the best way to do that. Tomorrow is a state holiday where I live, so my brother and his girlfriend will be home from work. We are working together to figure all this out. Definitely moving out of my current place as soon as I can. Sorry I can't reply to all the comments. I'm still pretty overwhelmed and anxious, and there are so many that it's frying my brain, but I'm trying to read most of them. I appreciate every one of you, though. Some of the comments by OP. I took the week off from work because I need to just figure all of this shit out. I'm so full of anxiety, but my brother is trying to distract me by talking about competitive Pokemon. Bless his heart. Several comments say to have somebody tell her ex that he's being stalked and cyberbullied. I was so caught up in escaping that I never considered this. You're right. Thank you for reminding me. My head is such a mess right now. I'll need to brainstorm the best way to let my ex know. I hate to know how he'll react, though. I'm gonna find a way to get someone to tell him. He might be a creep, but he deserves to know he's been manipulated. Oh, I am definitely not going to contact my stalker ex myself. I'll probably get my brother to do it since he at least met my ex a few times while I was dating. My dumb self didn't think to record Cole's confession, so we don't have any hard proof of this cyber harassment towards my ex. Just gotta hope he believes us and stops interacting with Cole's alt accounts. Though I don't know the name of Cole's alts, just that he has them, which is also complicated. He was sending me gifts before I started dating Cole, but it definitely ramped up after I started dating Cole. Sometimes a girl needs a hard dose of reality from some wise Redditors to get her shit together. Don't feed their egos, no! I'm glad they could help you, but this is oh. I'm glad I posted here, holy crap. I will buy him a draft beer and get him a custom mug that says World's Best Brother with a Tyranitar on it. I'm guessing that's the brother's favorite Pokemon. So, this post is marked as not being quite concluded. If an update does come across my feed, I will more than likely be recording that and stapling all this together and shipping this off as its own individual video, seeing as this whole saga itself is nearly 20 minutes long. I absolutely hate that Cole is so sadistic and such a fucking monster that I'm actually feeling bad for a stalker right now. Like, Cole really just took full advantage of someone who is desperate and not mentally well, and just drove it to the end zone with that, huh? Best of wishes to OP for getting into therapy and getting the help they need to just help their brain kind of process and comprehend and get past this trauma, honestly, is what this is. Biggest thing to know is that this isn't your fault. You just got 2 bad dice rolls in a row. Sometimes it unfortunately happens. In your case, you somehow didn't just get snake eyes, you got like 6 ones, and you only rolled 2 dice. So, luck in reality is just somehow fighting against you at every step of the way. But hopefully, thankfully, you have a support system that has your back and you'll be able to get out of this, and hopefully things will begin to look up for you. I am happy that you are willing to at least, find a way to let your stalker ex know that he was toyed with and manipulated by the devil, because then hopefully at least he can begin taking steps to get himself the help he needs after learning that his reality, the last 8 or so months, has been nothing but a complete goddamn lie. The reason why it's not 10 months is because they started dating 8 months ago, and Cole has been pretty much doing that for what I assume to be 8 months. Like, good God. So, real quick, if today's video is late, it's because I fell down the stairs and really fucked up my arm. Yeah. I'm okay, just in a lot of pain. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, not their alter ego from the previous post, Deceased Caterpillar. And their tagline is, of course, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Principal Asked Me Out, posted December 9th, 2015, to r/relationships. I'm 27 female, a teacher, and my principal, 40s male, asked me out. I feel very upset and don't know what to do. I'm a middle school teacher. Last year, we got a new principal in our school who is very unpopular among the teachers. He has been very critical in all of his evaluations and shared some unkind words with our teachers when he has had a criticism. I, on the other hand, have received glowing evaluations as a teacher under every observation. I have yet to hear mean or harsh criticisms from him, and I even got a lot of new things from my classroom this year that no other teacher got. I'm really upset and feeling like shit now. I thought he appreciated me and had respect for me as a teacher. I really did. After school today, I went to his office to ask him about a semester exam for a particular student. After we discussed the student, he got up and shut the door and sat in the seat beside me. I got a pit in my stomach because I thought I was being disciplined for doing something wrong. He then said that he had heard me saying that I get together with friends on weekends to play cards. He asked if I'd ever like to get together, just the 2 of us, and play cards at his house. He was very clear he did not mean it as a date because he's my direct supervisor, and that he meant it just as friends. Not sure I believe that. He just asked me, not long ago, if I was making another visit soon to state where my ex-boyfriend lives, and I told him that I wasn't with that guy I used to visit, so no. My face got really hot and I stammered that I would not be interested in dating, but maybe sometime, because I was too nervous to say no with him sitting next to me. I have been really upset since I got home. I've been so stupid to actually think that I was a great teacher. I feel like it's all been a lie and I just want to curl up in a ball and cry. All of my glowing evaluations mean nothing. I plan to go to his office before school very early tomorrow and tell him that I thought about it and am not interested, and think that it would be a bad idea to spend time together under any circumstance. What is the best way to approach this? How do I pick my self-esteem back up? Too long didn't read, my principal and boss asked me out. Not as a date. And I'm really steamed and upset. Relevant comments. User, I'm solo ST123456789. Quote, all of my glowing evaluations mean nothing, end quote. Just because he likes you doesn't mean that you aren't a good teacher and that your work is not excellent. Don't let him have such power over yourself. Do you love your students? Do you do your best to give them a good education? Do they get along with you? Focus on that, not on him. OP responds, my students brighten each and every day for me. I try to make the subject as interesting as possible, and I'm excited to come to school each day. I love each of my colleagues as well. They always ask me why I'm in such a good mood. I take the time to chat with them and see them as often as possible. I've been at the school 2 years longer than this man. Prime's Ghost comments, my wife is an elementary school teacher and her principal did the exact same thing last year. The teacher in question filed a complaint with the Teachers Association and the superintendent. The district took it super seriously and the principal was fired and replaced before the end of the school year. You should file a grievance. The principal has a lot of power over the teachers in a school, and I can't think of a way to look at a situation like this without there being a serious problem. OP responds, I feel like I'm in a sticky situation because he made it clear in telling me that he was not interested in dating, but just hanging out alone. Right. What should I say to him? On the other hand, I do wonder if this could be a blessing in disguise for all of my teacher friends. They are so unhappy. I hate to see them miserable at work. Update. The most hated man in the district. August 28th, 2016, 9 months later. So the original post is here, but the short version is that I am a teacher in my late 20s who was asked out by my principal last December, or should I say, former principal. I'll call the principal Mr. S. One thing I noticed in the original post is that many replies said to contact HR immediately. Those comments were pretty out of touch with my actual small school system in a tiny community. The chain of command goes from principal, then directly to superintendent of schools. Also, that means that transferring to another school in the district would be out of the question. I thought comments telling me to leave or transfer were taking it a bit too far. I adore the school, and I have more self-respect than to just leave an uncomfortable situation. I received so much encouragement from others in my original post. The next day, after I wrote the post, I left very early for school. I arrived before any other teachers were there. Only Mr. S in his office. I left a recorder in my pocket, legal in my state, and walked into his office to ask if I could speak with him. Briefly, with the recorder on, I told him, I was very uncomfortable with being asked to spend time with you at your home alone. He simply said, okay, and I left. Pretty uneventful, but I was worried he would deny it happened when I reported him, so I wanted to make sure I had something on tape. In regards to the situation, I gave a written statement to my superintendent of schools about the incident. The school system is tiny, about 600 students from P through 12. So they don't have an HR, and it's not unusual to go directly from principal to superintendent. No middleman. I won't go too much into the discussion, but we came into a mutual agreement that it towed the line. He agreed to my own suggestion that it should come to him as soon as anything else happens. My main concern was that I would be treated differently after turning him down. This actually did happen, which I will get into in a moment. However, I had an unexpected turn of events in January and ended up putting in my resignation late February. I applied for a position close to my hometown and have now moved back home for personal, unrelated reasons, an illness in the family. So I'm actually not in that school anymore, but I miss it very much and hope to go back someday. Once I had put in my resignation, nothing Mr. S did affected me anymore. He never made another pass at me and stopped talking to me completely. In fact, he stopped talking to me at all. It was like I didn't exist. He began ignoring my discipline issues, and I didn't even care since I was leaving in May. After the 2 years of glowing reviews from him, at the end of the year, he tore me apart in my evaluation, despite having only been inside my classroom once that year. I didn't care at all. At the end of the year, the superintendent asked me to reconsider staying. He told me how much he admired the hard work I put into teaching, and he felt that they wouldn't find a quality foreign language teacher to replace me in that small district. I wanted to stay, but again, I was moving for personal reasons and could not. The goodbyes were very hard. And now, the cherry on top. The superintendent had been quietly gathering reports and complaints about Mr. S's performance from all of the unhappy teachers. He met with him before the school year began to have a meeting about changes and improvements that he wanted to see happen. And Mr. S just quit on the spot, 5 days before the school year began for the teachers. He really left the school high and dry. They have not found a replacement principal and are making it work with the superintendent doubling as his job, the select staff members stepping in to cover their duties. So, all in all, he is now the most hated man in the school district, and I don't have to be there among all the madness this year. The superintendent has also emailed me recently to let me know that I am welcome to come back to the district at any time. Thanks for listening. Too long didn't read. Principal is now the most hated man in my former district. Honestly, it's a bit weird looking at this as like an adult now and remembering all the times that, I was in class and the principal was sitting in the classroom. I always thought the principal was sitting there because the whole class was in trouble, and it wasn't until high school that I actually realized that the principal was there to evaluate the teacher, and not evaluate the classroom. And as an adult, I can actually just look back at those moments and sympathize with the teachers of how stressful that would have been, of just having literally your boss watching every move and every breath you take while you try to teach your classroom, worrying if one of your students is going to make a scene or make a ruckus, and are you going to be judged for those actions? Now, normally though, because all the students thought the principal was there to judge them, everyone was on their tip-top behavior. My point being is that those days were already stressful enough, just as a general evaluation. Now, add on top of it the fact that your boss is sexually harassing you at work and asking you to come to his house to play cards. Like, now we're walking into a whole new territory of stressors that are being added on top of it, and just, goddamn. Crazy to think that this was almost a decade ago at this point, and I wonder what OP's up to. Unfortunately, with this best of update being as recent as it is, we're probably never going to get a solidified and actual update to all of this. But best of wishes to OP, and whatever current endeavors they're on right now. Hopefully whatever they're doing doesn't involve a principal asking them to come to his house to play some cards, just the two of them. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSups. Use code OZ at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code OZ directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code OZ at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.